I've forgotten her name again. Kobe, help me out here.
Neil.
That's Neil.
Miwan. Miwan.
Okay, so we are now live. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining me on Off the Court, a show specifically designed to discuss all things basketball, both local and international, with a special focus on development. As you all know, that the development of the game that is closer to our hearts is what is primary to the majority of us. And this evening, I'm joined by a special panel of people representing Lusaka and the Copper Belt. Of course, we're not here to discuss who is nothing and who is something. We left that to the court and the championships altogether to decide. I can see my guests beginning to laugh right now. Okay, so with me, ladies and gentlemen, joining me is Coach Mulo, and he is obviously a regular name in the game of basketball, coming all the way from the Copper Belt, doing some amazing things over there. And of course, another person of interest that is on the program is the Iron Lady so far. I'm calling her Iron Lady because she's the only one. Another lady is on her way joining us on the platform. So we've got Chimwemwe with me. Chimwemwe, thank you for coming through. It is a pleasure having you for the very first time in 2024 on the show. And of course, a wonderful friend of mine, an elder brother, Coach Mulenga Mumba from the Lusaka Basket Queens and Kings, the champions in the feminine division in Lusaka. And by the way, I forgot to mention that Coach Mulo's team are the champions of the CBA as well. I don't want to be fined by Coach Mulo, so let me just bring that up on the record as we get to start the program. Okay, so Coach Mumba Mulenga is with us. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining me, and congratulations to you for winning the CBA unbeaten, and congratulations to Coach Mulo as well. So this discussion for this evening obviously is for the champions. And another guest that is joining me this evening is Coach Martin Muchena. He is the Sekuru of basketball. He is somebody that has always been there, you know, even the days that I used to play. He's one person that would always talk to me as a player, guide me, teach me a few things, communicate with me. And I had the privilege of playing with this gentleman and being a point guard. Each time you gave him the ball, you knew that that three-point shot was definitely going to go in. He is an equivalent of a professor where the game of basketball is concerned. And obviously, Coach Mumba Mulenga can attest to this fact. I mean, he is part of the technical team for the Lusaka Basket Queens and Kings, and that explains how both teams nearly went unbeaten in the NBA. Okay, somebody's going to beat me here. I know I come from the NBA, but look, I'm so into the CBA. So anyway, everything is good. But gentlemen and lady, you are all welcome to this edition of Off the Court. And this evening, we will be looking at basketball development. And to just start the show, I'll start with the only lady on the platform. And this is no other than Chimwemwe. Come on, Chimwemwe. They say ladies first.
Hey.
Okay, so
the book of the Lion Cup. So
okay, so I'll just start with you basically, Chimwemwe, and just to open up the conversation and to open up the floor. I won't directly go into the meat of our discussion, but I'll just like to accord an opportunity to the viewers that are watching this live broadcast right now that may not get to know you or that may not have the privilege to have met you. Just introduce yourself briefly and just tell us about your basketball journey briefly.
Well, okay. My name is Chumumo Mwanza, and I think I started basketball when I was in grade 8 or 9, somewhere there. And it's just that love that led me to come to basketball, and then everything is just free flowing. I wear a couple of hats in basketball. Um,
Mm.
I play basketball, and I also had the opportunity to get FIBA accredited as a coach in 2016. So I coach as well, and I was appointed as second assistant in the under 18 ladies
Mm.
as well. So
Okay,
yeah,
so we seem to have lost Chimwemwe a little bit right there. Chimwemwe, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear
please
me?
go ahead. Yes, we can.
I don't know where did I end. I don't know where I ended.
Okay, so you were talking about being appointed at the national team.
Yeah, I was appointed as second assistant in the under 18 ladies national team, where I have my head coach here as well. So that's a good
Mm.
opportunity for me. Yeah. So I still play, and because of the love that I have for basketball, when small little programs come up, I'm always there. I'm always awarded opportunities to do those things. So yeah, basically it's just the love for basketball that I have, and I want to see the Zambian basketball grow, especially for the women. See, that's about it.
Okay, that's pretty much interesting. And I love the fact that you love the game of basketball so dearly. And allow me just to welcome to the stage another important household name in the game of basketball, and this is Neonani Nambela. We welcome you, and we're so glad that you could join us and be part of this conversation. So we're just doing a little bit of introductions, and the floor was on Chimwemwe, rather the spotlight was on Chimwemwe just to introduce herself. So we will directly come to you, Nambela. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, and of course, within the game of basketball, obviously.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, yes. I'm Neo Nambela from Chilawombwe. I I am a coach. I started coaching in 2010. I was coaching Konkola basketball. I had three teams there, the super team, then the League B and female team. I coached them from 2010 to 2016. I saw myself at least beating a man like Kandala in 2013 to advance to the Super League from the B League. And that was a very powerful achievement for me since
Mm,
Kandala is a coach that I look up to, and I was coaching Lunga by then, the mighty Lunga. So that one was great for me. From there, I was drafted as under 16 assistant national team coach, which saw me go with Danny to Zimbabwe. In 2017, I was also drafted under Coach Noah, though we didn't go due to hiccups. My basketball career as a player, um, I played for Kongola Angels, I played for Worcesters, I played for Storms, and all those teams we've been advancing to national championship games, and that has been something amazing. I've also had the chance of being drafted to the national team, though we never used to go, the hiccups that are with Zambia and women basketball, and we'll talk about that inside. My recent
mhm.
appointments come were for the Zimbabwe senior women national team. I was appointed as one of the assistants, and I'm humbled. I've also served as a medic. I'm the chairman of Copper Belt in the medical department, and it has also seen me go to Zimbabwe serving as medic under the senior men's national team. That's all that I can say at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach Nambela over there for that wonderful piece of introduction. And let's now get to the champion. I know I spoke a little bit about Coach Mulo, who is currently the reigning champion in the CBA. So, Coach Mulo, those youngsters that may not have an opportunity to hear or to get to know exactly who Coach Mulo is, I think right now you would do justice just to introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Um, I'm Coach Molo, well-known Coach Molo. I won't use my full name because if I use my full name, somebody might confuse me with Kobe because we share the same surname.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been coaching for I think roughly about a good maybe 12 years or so, 12, 10 years. Okay. What brought me to the game was actually the love and the passion of the game. A close friend of mine introduced me to the game in terms of coaching. In terms of playing, I learned from Kobe over there. At his time at CBU, we used to pick a lot of moves from him when he was called Kobe. Now he's obviously just finished. So from there, I've done quite well, I think, for myself and the impact I've had on young kids. I've been on the technical bench for the female national team with Nyoan, and I've also done a lot of administrative work. Right now, I'm the Commonwealth Basketball Association General Secretary. So I've been in the game due to the love of the game, and also trying to make change in the lives of the young kids who we get off the streets and keep them playing basketball. I think that is fine.
Okay. That is interesting. Thank you very much, Coach Mulo. Let me now get to Coach Mulenga. And I think I prefer calling you Kobe. So I
Yes,
hope
go ahead,
people
Kirby.
won't mind. Because, I mean, everybody knows you as Kobe. You are the famous Zambian Kobe Bryant. I mean, come on. We know you're Coach Mulenga, but of course, you are the only Kobe we have in Zambia. So, Coach, you can just at least, we heard over there from Coach Mulo, the legendary Kobe Mulenga himself, a household name within the Zambian basketball. And we may have a few people that may not get to know exactly who Coach Kobe is, but would like to give an opportunity to Coach Kobe just to be able to introduce yourself. Okay. So I'm seeing a little bit of, are you able to hear us, Coach Mulenga? Okay, so we seem to have a little bit of a technical glitch, and that is network, obviously, with Coach Kobe. But let's just get right into the meat of our discussion this evening. And what I'd like to find out, first of all, from the panel, I would like each and every one of you to weigh in on this one and give your perspective. And the critical question that we're asking this evening has to do with basketball development from a woman or a women perspective. And what I would like to find out from you is so far, looking at where we're coming from and where we are today, do you think that the game of basketball has improved or is it declining? So I will start with Coach Nambela. Do you think that the game of basketball is growing? Is it improving? Or it's simply declining?
Oh, thank you very much. To start with, I would really appreciate the Unza Annings, the reigning champions at the moment. Oh, the basket queens, sorry. The reigning champions. Kudos to them for what they've done. A 27-0. That is something great, Mwandini. We really, really do appreciate what they did showcase for us. And to be frank, I personally think the women basketball is going down. It is going down. Many people, quite all right, have been knocked up, as in they were pregnant, and coming back is been proven to be a challenge. I don't know why. And when they do come back, they are not welcomed in their teams. There's too much gossip around. There's too much subdivisions within their teams. So many people are failing to fit in. So they decide to stay away. I think basketball was more fun previously than nowadays. That's my take on this.
Okay, interesting submission over there, and definitely I will get back to you. But right now, let me give an opportunity to Coach Kobe Mulenga, who is joining us. I know that Network was trying to do a number on him, but he's back with us. So, Coach Kobe, right now the spotlight is on you. Just briefly introduce yourself to those that
Well,
may
my
not
name
know
is
the
Mulenga
legendary
Mumba.
Kobe.
Yes, my name is Mulenga Mumba, and in terms of basketball, I started my playing career some years back at Buffaloes. I I also played for the CBU Comets and the Lunga Bullets before I moved on to the UBSA Pacers. I've been coaching for quite a while, and right now just teams and Lusaka Basket Queens.
Okay, so congratulations. I know that you were not with us, Network, due to network challenges, but in her opening submission, Nambela did give some props to the Lusaka Basket Queens for going unbeaten in the feminine division of the Midlands Basketball Association. So, building on that milestone, and allow me to also take this opportunity to officially congratulate you for that milestone, for that historic milestone in the history of the club. And to just start the conversation, having gone 27 games unbeaten, not an easy fit, by the way. Do you think
Not at all.
that Zambian basketball, or women basketball particularly, is growing or declining? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like in the recent years, the ladies basketball gone down slightly. Uh, this, I think, is due to a few reasons. One of them being that the ladies who are starting playing basketball, the young ones, are really not coming up with the best fundamentals. So by the time they are getting into their early 20s, that's the time now the coaches are really trying to straighten out their fundamentals. So the kind of things that find as a one to two, some of them can't really shoot, some of them can't dribble the basket. But in the old days, took time to really work on their fundamentals. Almost the whole team would be good at ball handling, good at shooting, good at passing. So it is a growing concern we look at and see if we can get back our basketball where it should. Hello, Wendy.
Mole, really? Wetson, you're on mute.
Hey, apologies. Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we are.
Are you able to hear me? Ah, good. Yeah, so I was saying, we would like to find out from you. When we talk about women basketball, you guys are the champions of the CBA. Congratulations once again. And as a person who has been, in and around the game, do you think that women basketball is improving or simply declining?
Wetson, that's for me, right?
Yep, that's for you.
I think it is improving. Why I'll say that is because of a couple of factors. One, the people that I see that are in front of the game right now. Example, Kobe. Example, Chumwemwe, Nyoan herself, Andrew Nyirenda, Coach Noah, Coach Jeremy, Coach David. The time I've spent with these guys, each time we are interacting at maybe university games or college games, even Martin himself, actually, they actually do come to these events to watch the girl child play basketball. The biggest challenge we've had is size. When we come to college games, we find that majority of the players are short players. So going forward, we can take the game to another level. But basically, it starts from home. How many parents let the girl child play basketball? That is the headache that we have. Look at the YBL. Do we have a YBL for girls? We don't. The Copper Belt currently has only got 2 competitive teams. The other teams are development teams. Okay, they are developing. We've got young players who are coming up. With those young players coming up, that is where you see coaches that are passionate about basketball trying to help these kids. So we are going forward. It will take time, but at the end of the day, it starts from our household. Do we let our kids, our girl child, go out there to play basketball with all the vices that are seen and that are whispered to be around the game of sport, especially for a female? So going forward, we are going somewhere, we are getting somewhere, and we can get somewhere if we invest more on the route of basketball.
Interesting take over there. Let me immediately move on to Chichi. Chichi, what are your thoughts with regards the game of basketball, particularly for women? Is it improving or declining?
For me, I believe we're there. We were flat.
Where?
We're not,
Where
we're
are
not
we?
going down. We're not going down, and we're not going up. Like we had an improvement at some point, and then we just have like a flat line because we have, for example, we had about 7 teams on the Copper Belt, right, for the ladies. But then what came to happen is some teams had dropped off. And then you find that, like Coach Muller said, we only have like 2 competitive teams. So meaning we don't have the quality of basketball that we're supposed to have to improve. So meaning we're not improving, we're just stuck with the people that are there trying to improve the game, but we're stuck in that limbo where we're not going back to our grassroots and bringing people up for us to improve. And then we're there not putting in much hard work for us to improve. So that's my take on that.
Okay, interesting take over there. Now, let me go back to Nambela. You talked about some of the challenges, for example, that have to do with co-opting young girls or young ladies. For example, you cited an occurrence such as maybe one young lady falling pregnant and then not being able to be helped adequately overcome that particular challenge. What I would like to find out from you as a coach also, how has it been with regards managing, educating the girl child, to be able to stay away from such things like falling pregnant or maybe going the wayside with regards their basketball journey? How has it been for you? Did you have that support? For example, when you were growing up and associating with the game of basketball, did you have that support, elderly people or maybe players, coaches around that would talk to you about life skills and what it is that you needed to do to be able to avoid certain things? Okay, so just kindly unmute your microphone.
Or use
Thank
sign
you very
language.
much. I don't know how to use sign language. Come on. Okay, yes. I was like,
Right.
being a person that works in the health sector, I do it personally. Okay. Before the games and after the games, I'll sit down my girl child, talk to them about the do's and don'ts of life. And whenever I see some people coming in onto them, I'll go to those people and tell them off. it becomes difficult when you find that the people that are after the female players, let's say the under 16, the under 18, are the coaches themselves, the male coaches. You talk to them, they come out as if they don't even know that that has been happening, but it is there. The men are also killing the game of basketball. Female parents will come to us. They'll ask, okay, my girl is interested in basketball, but what guarantee do you have that my child will be safe? What incentives are you offering for her to be skipping or staying away from other maybe activities? Yes, other activities, and coming to basketball as a sport. You guys don't even get paid. What are they getting from that? You try to explain the importance of basketball in relation with school, they'll get to understand. As you are trying to build one thing that will help the parents build the trust, the male coaches and the other male players will come in and destroy what you've built. So it becomes difficult. My humble plea is that let's work together, and with the introduction of safe sport, let's what do you call this? Tule bazala abantu aba. It's sunguna chia, sorry. Thank you.
No, we understand. We understand. Okay. So now you've mentioned something very, very important. You've talked about, you trying to build the confidence with parents, you ensuring that you're creating a safe environment for the girl children to be protected and shielded from certain vices that would jeopardize their futures. And you've talked about Zalaling, something I find very, very important. Now, if you've ever been, being a person that has been exposed to a lot of girls, and say you knew some of these things, have you ever zalad, say, to the CBA? Have you ever zalad, to the federation to say, look, I know that Coach Kobe, just as an example to all those watching, I'm not saying Coach Kobe is doing this, no. Just as an example.
Smoke that fire.
Have you ever zalad to the CBA or to the association, to the federation at large, and say, look, there's this coach, he's messing around with the players. Have you ever done that before? And what response did you get? This is to you, Coach Nambela, just as a follow-up. Are you able to hear me, Coach Nambela? Okay, so we seem to have a look. Okay, so basically the gist of the question, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I'm able.
Okay, so the gist of the question basically is, having been exposed to such behaviors from the male coaches and the players, have you ever engaged the relevant authorities such as the CBA or the federation itself with regards corrective measures?
I would say no and yes. No, in that I've never told the necessary authorities. Yes, I've approached the females and told them, this that you are doing will destroy your future. You are not supposed to engage in such a relationship with this and this man. And they would say, no, there's nothing happening. When all the green lights are there, for us to present a case somewhere, you need evidence. And if there's no evidence, that person has denied. Even if you know that it's for the truth, why will you take the case without proof? Where?
Okay, that's an interesting take over there. Coach Martin is joining us as well. Thank you, Coach Martin. You're welcome. We appreciate you taking time out being with us. So just kindly unmute your microphone. Coach Martin Muchena there, just kindly unmute your microphone. So we welcome you over there. But quickly, let me get to Kobe. Kobe, you said something very interesting. You talked about the issue of the difference in terms of skills. You know, if you look at the way the players were back in the day, they were fundamentally sound. They would come. There was that willingness to learn. You know, there was that willingness to learn the game of basketball the right way. And according to your earlier submission, there is a gap in comparison between now and then. So I want to find out from you, Kobe, as a coach, as Lusaka Basket Queens, what are you doing to be able to abridge this gap or to address this issue that you've seen? And if that is happening, could it be that you coaches also are not doing your part to ensure?
Our approach has always been to have a team that is very handling, you know,
Okay, so we seem to have lost Coach Kobe over there due to network, but I know that we'll be back. But those of you that are joining this conversation via Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, you are at liberty to forward your questions in the comment section, and we'll be able to look at them. And if you want to specifically send or direct a question to one of the discussants, please feel free to do so as well. And already we've got our active viewers. We've got people that are joining us all the way from the Copperbelt, Lusaka, the United States of America as well. I can see Ellen, who's here. John Waitolo is watching. Ilian is here and already firing the questions. We will be getting to those questions a little bit later on. But allow me right now to give Coach Martin an opportunity, who hasn't spoken but is with us. Sekuru, we are discussing the issue of basketball, and particularly with the focus on women. And having been, oh my God, Sekuru is gone and Coach Kobe is back. I don't know what these two are plotting here.
Are we sure these two are not in the same
considering
house?
the fact
using
that
the
they
same
come from
network?
Basket Queens.
They're in the same house using the same network. Those two, I don't trust them.
Okay, so I think as we wait for Sekuru to come back, allow me just to bring back Kobe on the floor. Kobe, you were telling us how you are addressing the issue of the skills gap between then and now. You can continue.
Yes. So what I was saying is the challenge right now for the players, I think, is just working hard towards improving their fundamentals. Right now, we see a group of players that are more interested in highlights, more interested in having their videos taken as they are playing. These are players you see, even if they lose by 30, 40 points, some of them are happy just that they shot a three or they made a highlight move. So the ethics of really working hard into improving their basketball is really what's missing. So at club, we're trying to in a culture of and always improve the this is not most of the players that are coming up. I also wanted to just give my 2 cents over what Anne was saying. You know, when it comes to the girls, I think the information is there out there right now. Most of us coaches just don't basketball, but we are also imparting life skills and trying to give good advice to them. We are facing a lot of challenges. Remember, we did some programs for the under 16, under 18 with some angels. We are marrying basketball and life skills. So the girls are not only basketball, but we're also trying to teach them how they can improve their life, stay away from devices like drinking beer, doing drugs, and all these things that they are doing in the community. So, in as much as we have coaches and other administrators or referees who take advantage of these girls, I think the information is out there for them to make sound decisions going forward. Unlike maybe in the past where we never had coaches who would really talk to us about life as it is. They would be more interested in just you and delivering for your team.
Okay. Interesting submission over there from Kobe. And right now, okay, so we've got Coach Martin. Coach Martin is still struggling to actually connect. But let me come to you, Coach Mulo. With you, I would like to pick what Ndenge is saying here. So in the comment section, Ndenge is saying, and I've just thrown the comment on the screen right now. You can see it. Ndenge is saying the interesting part is that we've got a safe sport officer and we are still delaying the implementation of various code of conduct to protect the female athletes. As long as people don't want to face reality, we will continue turning in circles. We all know what's happening, but everyone is turning or giving a blind eye. So this is what Iliam is talking about. In other words, what can address this problem is there, but nobody seems to take responsibility to ensure that the right thing is done to put in place safety measures that will protect the girl children. You as a coach running a successful team that just won the league, what have you done to protect the girl children? And what are your thoughts on what Ndenge is saying?
Protection of the girl child is a very difficult equation in the sense that, first and foremost, there's a question that is always asked: what is a coach or who is a coach? A coach can be a parent, a mentor, and all those things come into play. When a girl joins a team, you get to know her slightly better sometimes than her parents. Your influence on that child might even be better than her parents. When recruiting these girls, we actually able to tell, as coaches, we'll be able to tell that she has come for the game or she has come for the fame and the fun of the game. The girls that come for the fun of the game are those that really won't be serious or will be more into the dressing, the after party, after the game and things like that. So what I do personally, I will have side talks with them. I will not hit the nail on the head because that is a job that the parent has been doing from day one she was born. I would just be there to spice up whatever the parents infused in her. I do not think anyone would come from a house and tell a child that you go play basketball and find a man. I don't think that's the case. Okay, so when she comes onto the team, I'm there and say, hey, look, even the Bible says, go out there, you're youthful, go have fun. Let's have fun responsibly. Okay? From 7 to, take for instance, majority of the players on my team are in school. 7 to 6 p.m., somebody's in class, eh? 6:30, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 9 p.m., somebody's on the basketball court. After that, they go back to study, to sleep, whatever. Weekends, you've got basketball games. Around themselves, they're seeing life on social media. People posting this, people doing that, people at parties, people at that. Even they want a bit of that life. They are young. It is within them. They are young. They need to experience that. Ask any of my players. We party after the last game. If we're playing on Sunday, yes, I'll be one of the people that will even provide funds for them to have fun responsibly. I will not deny them that. Because at the end of the day, I get permission from the parents telling them, I'm in charge of your child between 6 and 8. That person's under my care. 7 to 8, on her way home, she gets home, she needs to tell me she's home. If anything happens, I'll be responsible. So we can do only so much to these players, to our sisters, our nieces, okay? We can do so much, we can advise them so much, but we need to help them enjoy life while being responsible. I cannot consistently keep going to a player and pushing them around as if I'm a parent. Eventually, she's going to run away from the game. other kids come to the game to run away from such certain vices. Take, for instance, especially the guy child, the boy child. He will run away from he will run away sometimes from drugs, from alcohol to the game. Okay, then some come to the game to look for that. So it is up to us to close that off from the game. If we're going to have fun, let's have fun responsibly. Wear your skimpy clothes. Those clothes are being made for somebody to wear. If not your sister, if not your daughter, whose daughter is going to wear those things? Somebody will. But let me educate my sister, my niece, your sister, whoever, to be in the right and always to do the right thing. Ndenge has said on the question, coming to the question about policies being put in place. I do understand where it's going, where it's coming from, but at the end of the day, our terrain of where we are, there are certain things we cannot implement because of what we are. When I say what we are is, take for instance the federation and the associations. We hardly have money. People hardly make money out of basketball. People are in basketball for the love of the game, not for getting money out of the game. Most of us coaches are putting money in the game to change lives at a small angle. So when certain things come into play, I do understand other people saying not conforming to certain rules that we have put in place, the ethics that have come into place. Certain people will shy away and say, why would I conform to this, yet I'm getting nothing out of the game? Those are questions that can be asked in the dark corners. Okay, so it is understood. It is up to one to understand that what I'm doing, is it right or wrong? And don't forget, if let's talk about love, let's talk about infatuation. There are no rules on that. You can fall in love anywhere at any time. Infatuation, you can be infatuated at any given time. Nearly half of your week you spend time coaching these girls, but you have to be a parent. That is why one of the first things we need to learn as coaches is being a parent. As a parent, am I going to go with the African or the Bemba saying of Ulia Mwibara, Womba Mwibara? We look at all those things. So as a parent, will I be happy? Will Kobe be happy saying my daughter or my niece is at CBU and let Coach Mulo coach her? He has to be comfortable knowing that I'm going to take care of her in the right manner. I'm going to help shield her from all the evil vices of society that come to the game. That is who we are supposed to be. Those are the role models we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be role models. But yes, some of us.
So, Mulo,
yes,
you've said something very, very important.
Mhm.
In as much as we would like to enforce discipline, we shouldn't also fall in the trap of becoming too rigid, that we don't allow people to live life and enjoy their youth. But what I would
Yes.
like to find out from you is, where do we draw the line? Because we have seen, in some instances where these girls, in the name of coaches allowing them to live a little, have a little bit of fun, rewarding them for the good play, rewarding them for the commitment that they've shown to the team and the results that they've delivered. We've seen certain girls, at the end of the day, end up falling in certain traps. So what I wanted to find out from you is, where do we draw the line? Because at the end of the day, if I can drink with you, okay, as a coach, I mean, how do we strike a balance between drinking with you and you being the parent, you being the coach? How do we strike a balance?
It starts with me as the coach. It starts with us. Here is the balance. I'll give you my experience, my team. I won't mention names. Those that know my team will know my team very well. My captain, when she wants to go out, she will ask for permission from me. Okay? So the coach, I'm going out. I've had a rough week. I'll say, responsible. What time are you back? Reminder. 3 drinks, 4 drinks, you're home. I'll check up on you. My captain will do that. The rest of the other team, when they know we've got no games, those that take take, for instance, alcohol. They'll mention to me, Coach, we're going out. All right, go have your fun. Not a problem. Where you guys hang out, we're hanging out here, we're hanging out here. Fine. What will happen? Already that starts from somewhere. They know in the back of their minds, Coach knows we've gone out. Coach knows what can happen to us, and we know what will happen on the court. So let's be responsible to this degree. Okay? When I take my team out, both the male and the female team, there is a line I draw in how much I can fraternize with the girls, how much I can joke with the guys. There is a line. They know we can do this in front of coach. We can say this in front of coach, and they know that line. The way you interact with your players, the advice you give the players, even the players know that this is a yes, this is a no. At one point, you will really discover that the player is more afraid of you than the parent. There are players who've got on the team where the parents will actually call and say, oh, my child is having a problem here and here. Please help this person out. 2 months down the line, coach, thank you for being the right influence to my child. These are things that we can do. Okay? It really just has to start with us. The line is there. Everybody knows that line is there. If today I told you that till now I don't drink, would you believe me? I've drawn a line. I've never taken alcohol before. Where Chimwe is, she's been in basketball for so long. She never got pregnant from basketball. She doesn't drink from basketball. Okay? These are all examples. Hobby knows me from way back, and he's known I've always been the same through thick and thin. I've always been the same. And that is how we have our discipline. Even when other players who are not in the basketball team come and say, oh, coach, your girls, they're looking nice. Huh? Oh, who's that one? Who's that one? From the question, I will know. And I'll just say, away from my players. If you want her, meet her in the street, talk to her. That's fine. Not on my watch. These are things that we can put across. But bottom line, like I said, I can only do so much. The child can only do so much. The parents can only do so much.
Interesting take over there. Now let's get to hear from Chimwemwe. Yeah. So let me just bring on Chimwemwe obviously here. You were a player, okay? And I believe you still play. Do you still play?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now, obviously, the coaches, the gentlemen have spoken, and I love what Coach Mulo is talking about, you know, the issue of coaches taking on responsibility and everything. But from your experience as a player, okay, how has it been? Can you say that it's been safe, that basketball is a safe environment? When we talk about, you know, the behavior, the praying behavior of the coaches and maybe the players themselves, how has it been? How has been your journey?
Well, for me, I started sport when I was very young. My father was a coach. My mother did all sorts of sports and everything. So from a very young age and from my upbringing, I was told what to do and what not to do. So basically, I had like the proper role models. So when it comes to me seeing whatever vices are going on the basketball court and whatnot, it's my decision to actually fall into that trap or not. But then that is on I'm only as confident not to fall in that trap because I had a proper mentorship. I had someone to tell me this is right and this is not right. So that's what we're supposed to do. So when we start from the grassroots, we need to be able to instill these kind of morals and everything in those children, because we can't control what anyone comes to the arena to drink, to dress and whatnot. We can't control that. But at least we try and mentor those children to say, you know what, this is not a good habit for an athlete. This is a good habit for an athlete. Do this, do that. But then it all depends on me. So in my journey, I decided and I knew to say, okay, as an athlete and a growing athlete, I should not do this. I should do this. So it basically comes to you.
Okay, so that's an interesting take over there. And I don't know if Sekuru Martin is able to hear me now. Okay, so Sekuru Martin again, it seems Kobe is enjoying all the internet. He's
Can I
getting the fair
come?
share of the internet.
Uh,
Kobe is holding the bundle.
Netflix.
I think
Yeah,
having
Kobe, you
coached
wanted to
the
say
ladies
something?
team for many years. Yes. Having coached ladies
Go ahead.
for many years, one of the things that I picked up is when dealing with others, they are limited what you can to what you do in terms of their time away from the sport. So when we are dealing with adults, these are people who are working, people who are earning their own money. We are limited to the things that we can do in terms of trying to control their after basketball life. We can only advise them. For example, we see some ladies after their games they drink a lot. So in those lines, we'll always be there for them and trying to uh, just advise them. The drinking is not good for them and all these other things. But when we are dealing with the young ones, I think I'm more of a parent than a coach because, for example, I would never want my own daughter to go in public wearing indecent, a very short skirt or a very short these bum shorts we are seeing all over. As a parent, I would never want to see my daughter doing that. So if I'm handling a young and some of the times they are going out, they want to do some fun things. I will really be strict so that they don't fall into this vice. Okay. Some of the things that we also need to look at is the coaches who are taking up this thing. We are trying to enforce a coach's code of conduct that determines how coaches need to behave with the teams and with the girls. Some of these things, I think, they are not fully in place. So people are doing whatever they feel like doing. But with a strong code of conduct, I think we are able to see when a coach is acting out of line, we will be able to see and take action on that. Okay. And also, I think to be a great coach who deals with ladies, it takes someone who has ethics because you know that dealing with ladies, I should never be one of those guys who starts trying to touch the girls and misbehave. It should take someone who has very strong ethics to deal with the ladies. My take.
Okay, that's an interesting take over there from Kobe. And while you're on the floor, Kobe, I've thrown a very interesting take from Coach Noah Mabuto on the screen there, and he's talking about the need to relook at the organization of the women's game, increasing the number of teams, promoting healthy competition with regards to the transfers, so as to create a balance between the strong and the weaker teams. He's also talking about the issue of more games and exposure to both players and coaches. Now, this is a phenomena that I've seen not only in the women's league as well. And after you, Mule, I would like also Coach Mule just to be Mulo to be able to come in on this one after Kobe. But what are your thoughts on this? Like he is talking about the issue of transfers to be able to promote healthy competition. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, if a team can afford to get the best of talent, shouldn't they?
Yes, that's a very tricky question because it really looks at the free market of basketball players and having players freely join a team that they want. Because what it is right now, other teams are community based, other teams have got good sponsors. So even the players who are playing, they would want to go somewhere where they may make something. Maybe they're getting a 1,000, 2,000, things like that. So having a team that's very attractive in terms of the packages that they offer also pulls a lot of players. But like Coach Noah is saying, in the long run, if we have probably in our league where we have 5 or 6 female teams, if two teams in that league are the only teams with good sponsors, it means they'll carry the cream of the players in the league. Then what it will mean is the rest of the teams will only have average players. But I think to make our league stronger, we need to develop a bigger pool of young players so that a team can only get maybe 20 players maximum. If we developed a bigger pool of players, it means all these other teams can also tap into that talent. And then on the issue of exposure, it has always been uh, very few teams will go outside there and really face different kinds of opponents. I think the teams that have traveled a lot and have gone out there to play international basketball have always come back and have become better teams. It would be nice to see our league sending teams out there and playing in different competitions around Saudi, so that our girls are exposed just to how good other leagues are, and you will learn a lot coming out from international outs. I think it will really make our league a little bit better.
Okay, so before I come to you, Coach Mulo, let me tap into the mind of Nambela right now. Coach Kandala, your arch rival, okay, mentor stroke rival. Coach Kandala has said something very interesting. He says the code of conduct has been blocked by the male coaches themselves, okay? And probably I must think it's not the male coaches I have here, okay? They know the reasons why they've been blocking the introduction of this particular code. This is what Coach Kandala is talking about. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this. And from your journey, you've been in the game for a long time. Do you think, how has been the support from the male coaches, the male players, in ensuring that we create a safe environment that would lead to the growth of women basketball? Just kindly unmute your microphone.
Come again, please.
Okay, so I was saying,
that
what are
can
your
you
thoughts?
say what you said, please?
Oh, okay. So I was basically asking you to just say what you think concerning what Coach Kandala has put up in the comment section, saying that the code of conduct has been blocked by the male coaches themselves because they know the reasons why they are blocking this particular code of conduct. So I want to get your thoughts on that, and building on your exposure and experience in the game of basketball, having interacted with both the male and the female folk, do you think there's good support from the male folk with regards creating a safe environment for the girl child? What can they do better?
I think Kandala is right. We need the code of conduct, because without rules and the regulations, we are nothing. We are just like headless chickens running without manners or morals. So whoever is behind the code of conduct, please, we need it, because that will be a guidance for all of us. We really need it, whether feminine or masculine. Hello?
We can hear you.
Oh, yes. And then we live in a male-dominated society. Most of us women don't want to start pushing our own agendas. We just want to be riding on men's agenda. If we add our own, we were able to run our own league as females. If a lot of female can stand up and do that, have the confidence and the courage to do that, we'll be better off. Not that we don't need the men, we do need them. They need to guide us, they need to mentor us. But in such situations, when you say, for instance, I'm tired of being assistant coaches, senior national team assistant, under 18 assistant, under 16 assistant, I'm tired. I want to head the team. Now, Ann Nambel, senior head coach. I want to do it like
Yeah.
Liz Mills did it. Okay? But if these people are standing on me, they think I can't do it. There are no codes of conduct or there are no things that will back me up to stand in my position, even when I'm capable. How will you know what is in my mind? I think as a woman, I understand the scope of another woman and I know what's better for them. I'll take an example of some appointments like the youth and women groups. You'll find that Coach Consolo is the one heading it. He's a man. Are there no women? They are there. No offense, Coach Consolo is the great leader, a great coach. But I would love to see more females taking up such leadership roles because we do have the capability to do it. I personally have it. I'm confident enough. All that I need is a little guidance, a little mentorship, not whereby just because I say this point, Coach Consolo will see, now and go there so that we see what is going to happen. That is not what we do. That's not the way to go about it. He needs to come in and tell me, yes, you've done well, you've stood up, you want this position, so let me guide it. This is how I've been running it, and I'll help you. Another thing, national team appointments, it's also the same. If you look at the appointments that have been there previously, have you ever seen a female head coach? No. If there is a female heading or assisting in the national team, they will be the last, or they'll be at the bottom of the food chain. Reason best known to themselves. If there's someone to drop, they'll drop the one at the end. Whether female or not, it doesn't matter. Oh, that has happened to me. If you think I'm just talking from without, it has happened. So now, what are we doing? Are we helping the female basketball to grow? No. So at least if we can push some agendas whereby women will run their own women basketball league, our own female refs, our own female table officials, I think that would be great. Sorry, I've talked too much, but I think I have a lot on my mind. My bad.
Obviously, I mean, we are eager to hear what you have on your mind. But let me go to Coach Mulo. Coach Mulo, Coach Noah raised something about healthy competition and ensuring that we create a balance in our leagues so as to not not have only two competitive teams in a league that has probably 2 or 5 teams only. So I'd like to tap your mind on that. How has been the Copper Belt experience when it comes to that? And as you tackle that, there is something interesting on the screen there, from a very good friend of mine, Agrippa Chama, who is asking, he says he's got a daughter who one day will play in the league, and he would particularly like to get an assurance that as a coach, you yourself will take it upon yourself to push for the establishment or enactment of this code of conduct so that Agrippa's daughter can be safe and celebrate responsibly, as you mentioned earlier, within the confines of the basketball game. Over to you, Coach Muller. Coach Muller, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am able to hear you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah. We For the copper belt, we don't have a large pool. When you go around and go to the games from high school, even the quality of the players is poor because there are no real coaches in the schools. Okay, so the plan is, let's develop a YBL that can integrate the schools. Let's have coaches going into these schools to teach these girls how to play basketball. Secondly, let's have these players attach them to clubs, the existing clubs. If you've got 5 female teams, attach those players to those teams. So as they grow, as they mature, as they leave school, they've got somewhere to go.
Okay, so we seem to have a little bit of a network issue again with Coach Mulo over there. Okay, so before Coach Mulo comes back, Chimwemwe, are you able to hear me?
I can get you.
Okay, so let me come to you. There's Nambela mentioned something very important, the issue of making sure that women are given equal opportunity to be able to go out there, experience the assignment, learn from it as the men are learning, become better as well. What is your take on that? I would like to tap your mind on that particular suggestion from Coach Nambela. I mean, she cited clearly that at one particular point, we had Liz Mills, who was given an opportunity to be able to take the Zambia national team out there. And so, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a very good idea to have women have that exposure of heading a team. And like she said, us women have a better understanding of our fellow women. Not to take away from what the men teach us, they do guide us a lot. In my own experience, I learned a lot just this past few weeks from Coach Kandala and Coach Andrew. And those are men, but they were helping me with everything that was happening on the court on that particular day. And then I was open to learning. So we as women are supposed to push ourselves. We are supposed to challenge the status quo as well. So we put ourselves out there. We're not timid. We need to learn. And if we learn, we're going to be able to, head those teams. So my take is it's a very good idea. I love it. I'm for it. Let's have more women come on board. If it's reffing, if it's on the table, if it's everywhere, let's give that opportunity to ourselves and let's get that opportunity and use it and utilize it.
Okay, interesting over there. So O'Neill, who's watching us, is calling for Coach Noah to possibly join us and be able to share a few highlights of that particular document. Well, Coach Noah, if you're watching, please, we would like to get even just 2 minutes of your time so that we could get to hear just the highlights. But let me come to you, Coach Mule. I know that right now, the Lusaka Basket Queens, have done extremely very well. We're proud of the team, and only the future, okay, is. I mean, we can only imagine the greatness that is in store with regards to the future for the team. But I would like to find out, okay, you are a male heading a female team. There's nothing wrong with it. But going by what the ladies have said, both Chimwemwe and Nambela, are you deliberately as a club creating opportunities where you can mentor young players in positions of leadership with the view of perhaps taking over in the future should opportunities present themselves within your structures?
Yes, indeed. One of the things that we've seen in the past is that actually the ladies are the least people who support fellow ladies. Well, I say this because if you look at the crop of players who stopped playing in the last 10 years, you'll see that none of them are really interested in coaching. None of them are really interested in being officials or going into admin. They simply just walk away from it. I'm one of the guys who likes to really support ladies into this position. But I think the ladies also have to do a lot of work in terms of establishing themselves as a coach and also learning to grow as a coach. You know, the example they've really spoken of Liz Mills is someone who has worked on a craft and has proven herself as a very good coach. No one will block a very good coach from taking an assignment in terms of leading a national team. I think there are very few ladies who really take up these roles, and that's a challenge that we have. Very few coaches who are ladies and trying to improve themselves. Then we are on like on our team, we have players who are giving potential in the roles of wanting to coach. We have players like Nikki, I can tell you, she has taken up a role of coaching already. She's coaching a young team. And those are some of the people we want to encourage to come back and take over eventually, coaching the basketball team. Also looking at players like Enara Panda, Enara Ponda, the people who understand what the team is about, they understand the team's principles, the team's character. Those are the kind of people that we want to bring back and encourage them to start coaching so that they can take over eventually.
Okay, interesting submission over there. We've got Coach Mulo back. And Coach Mulo would like to hear from you. With you, right now, I know that we had the first inaugural season of the Basketball Africa League for women that has come on board. Previously, it was the men only, but now the women have an opportunity to go and compete at the highest level of the Basketball Africa League. I know that the Basket Queens will be heading to participate in that competition, and it's a pity that I don't have Coach Milken, who owes me because I texted him. He was supposed to be here with us today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so from you, what I would like to find out is what does this opportunity mean for a coach like you, who is heading a female team that has all the potential in the nearest future to have an opportunity to participate in a continental tournament like that one? What does it mean? What does it change with regards the female players once they get to hear and learn about this opportunity?
I think it gives them the opportunity to dream. That's number one. One, to dream about being on a global scale, on a global stage, where they can be seen around the world. Two, it kind of gives them also a dream that they can make money out of basketball. Right height, right skill, right attitude, you're seen on the international level, you will get recognition. I think a couple of weeks back, or maybe a month back, we saw some players, I don't know if they're from Mali or Rwanda or Kenya, who were drafted into the WNBA. Those are things they can look at, you know? So it is a good thing, a very, very good thing. Those are things that you work towards to. And I like the way you put it out at the end that even my team one day can find themselves on such a stage. I really hope, unlike last year, that the Zambian teams can participate in the next coming tournament. It is a very good achievement. This will make our girls more competitive, even when it comes to qualifiers, regional tournaments, and things like that. It is a really good thing, and I think we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, let me now come to Nambela. From you, I'd like to find out, we will have an opportunity. You talked about being part of, for example, being selected to be part of the technical staff for a national team. And the moment there are constraints, a woman is the first to be cut. A woman is the first to be considered to be dropped. Now, we have the bow coming up, okay? And we've got Lusaka Basket Queens that will be going to represent the country. We've got Dolphins Basketball Club that will be going to represent the country. What would you love to see with regards promoting and exposing the female coaches to be able to be part of these kind of organizations to go out there and learn? At player level, of course, we've seen teams supplementing their teams, bringing on other players and everything. Do you think even at coaching level, we should be able to do that? Okay, so we seem to have a challenge over there connecting with Nambela. But Chimwewe, did you get that question?
Yes, I did.
What are
So
your
yes,
thoughts on that?
I believe we should be able to bring in some female coaches, especially for the exposure part and the help part. Suns went to the BAL recently, right? So the only different thing that they did from the people that previously went was that they got some other people from different teams on their technical bench, and they did perform quite well. So even with our women teams that are going, I know there's the whole aspect of the financial, everything, all those things that will be going on. But it would be very nice, and it would be a very good opportunity to have some female coaches go onto those trips to learn and to just have an exposure and bring that back.
Okay, interesting take over there. So we've got quite a lot in our comment section. People are talking about this document that they would like to be shared. Okay, so Nambela is back with us, and I would like to still tap into your brain concerning. I don't know if you got the question earlier on, but what I was saying is we've got female teams that will be traveling to the Basketball Africa League Feminine competition. Would you love to see a situation where female coaches are given an opportunity, should the finances allow, should a plan be created that there's such? Would you love to see a situation where women also could tag along and be able to learn what is going on over there and just to be able to get exposed? I mean, we've had Mateo Magic stuff get exposed to the Basketball League Africa competition. We've had Monali Sons doing a tremendous job, co-opting a very good coach in our league feminine division, Coach Milken, who went there, did an extraordinary job, and I had a conversation with him, and he was able to attest that just being in that environment changes your perspective as a coach. So is it something that we would love to see? So already I can see that Nambela again is not with us, but of course, when she comes back, we will be able to get to see about that. But anyway, gentlemen and ladies, I can't keep you here for a long time. We will be wrapping up our show very soon. But before we do, let me try my luck again for the last time. Nambela is with us. Did you get my question? Nambela, did you get the question on? Okay, so the question is, should we have our female coaches join the technical staff of female teams that will be representing the country at the Basketball Africa League, should the funds allow?
I'm really not getting anything.
Okay, so we seem to be struggling with probably network and audio issues over there. But as we get to the end of our discussion, allow me to bring or just to throw this question to Coach Kobe, who's with us.
The network
We would
at my
like to
end
find
is
out.
very bad. Sorry, I can't get anything.
Okay, so we just hope that it improves on that end. But Coach Kobe, let me just throw this to you. What are you preparing? Because last year we had a very bad situation. The inaugural Basketball Africa League, Green Buffaloes was supposed to travel as champions, and Dolphins as runners-up, who have been very consistent Good work to Coach Milken over there. But teams obviously couldn't travel due to reasons, some of which were discussed on this particular platform. Is Lusaka Basket Queens going to disappoint us as well? Or should we expect a gallant Lusaka Basket Queens representing the country?
Well, I think the team admin and sponsors have really come through for us the whole year. I'm sure it won't be later. So the coaching staff, Sekou and I, will have a sit down, really plan whether we can maybe make additions or subtractions to the team, and then we'll also sit down with the admins and plan for the trip. But the Queens are definitely going to the tournament. We want to expose our ladies to that kind of that high level of basket, so that they can bring it back here and hopefully see them make another strong run in this year's season.
Okay, that's an interesting take over there. So let me come to you, Chimwemwe. What are your closing remarks as we get to wrap up this discussion this evening concerning the development of women basketball in Zambia?
So for me, like I said, it begins with us, the women. So with us developing the game, we need to go back into the high schools, we need to go back into the community centers and identify the players that can come on board and teach people things from basics. Yeah, teach them from basics, be their mentors, try and show them the right path to go as athletes in life and everything. And then we might see a better basketball from women if we start from the roots, because if the roots are strong, the tree won't fall. So let's do that.
Okay, interesting take over there. Let me now go to Coach Mulo. Coach Mulo, what are your closing remarks on this important discussion that we're having concerning the development of women basketball in the country?
I think with the introduction of BAL for the females, like everyone is hoping, I do hope that the next edition, our Zambian teams will be able to travel, play, and represent well. Let that be a marketing tool to stakeholders to come on board and say, look, our females can do it. All we need is a little bit more funding. With that funding, with more help, we'll get to the high schools. We'll develop the YBLs specifically for females, and we'll get them up to a level where we can compete to a certain level until we get to that high level. We need to do that. So I really hope that this time it works out for them so that they can be there, and we can use that as a marketing tool, all right, to help people come on board and help us to get into the grassroots, because it needs finance. We need coaches on the ground. We need coaches in the schools. Then from there, we eventually will bring them on board to the teams themselves and help fund the teams so that we can create the level playing field that we're talking about. Also, everybody I can see from the comments is talking about the code of conduct and the ethics. People want to see that document. Yeah, that document has to be there. We have to put it there. It has to be implemented. Okay, but at the end of the day, it starts with us. Let's do the right thing. Let's not wait for a document to tell us not to do this and that. Let's do that ourselves. Let us be the right person. Let us be the right role model to somebody else. For Chama, that comment that you asked, what we will put in place to safeguard your child, I'll be honest with you, it starts with how you bring up your child. If your child is brought up right, everything that we're saying has got no consequence, because that person will do the right thing. My nieces, I've got 3 nieces that are playing basketball that I've introduced to the game. The way I talk to them at home, the way their parents talk to them at home, I am sure they will not fall in the bad vices of the sport. Thank you very much.
Interesting take over there. So let me try my luck again with Nambela. Are you able to hear me now? Nambela, are you able to hear me?
No.
Okay, so we seem to have a challenge with Nambela over there. Let me give her chance or slot to Coach Kobe. Your closing remarks, Coach Kobe?
Well, I do hope that the admins out there in the federation can take up deliberate policies and give roots into really developing the ladies basketball, starting from the grassroots, starting from the high school, so that we see a stream of fundamentally sound players coming through. Then for the teams out there, I think I would just like to urge them to work hard and improve themselves. Let's enjoy the season as it starts. And to everyone else, guys, Happy New Year. We didn't even wish you Happy New Year.
Okay, okay. So interesting take over there. Thank you very much, Coach Mule, for joining us on this particular edition of Off the Court, and Coach Mule all the way from the Copper Belt. You know, the two champions of the CBA and the MBA being able to come here and share their thoughts, and for just being candid and honest enough to be able to share what you think can develop the beloved sport of basketball. And I also would like to just appreciate the ladies, in fact, that have been with us this evening. That is Chimwemwe and Nambela, that have been sharing their journey and also just, telling us what has been happening, especially with regards their involvement being in and around the game of basketball. We personally, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you. I'm looking forward to having another conversation such as this one, where we can talk about the other stuff with regards the development of women basketball. I believe there is a huge opportunity when it comes to the women of basketball. I mean, when it comes to women's basketball, that can be tapped into once there is concerted efforts from stakeholders at different levels altogether. To those of you that were with us in the comment section, Ellen, Coach Milken, Coach Kandala, and of course John Waitolo, Ephraim, Jacob, Mwila Mulenga, and Nelly Nakazwe, Coach Noah, and everybody else, KK Mwanza, Agrippa Chama. I mean, I just can't mention all of you, but thank you very much for joining us this evening and taking part in this particular edition of Off the Court. And we will be meeting next Thursday again, the same time, to discuss another interesting topic within the game of basketball. Remember, both local and international. For those of you that would like to suggest topics, please be at liberty to reach out on my Facebook page, Wenson Mavoro, Twitter, and of course, Instagram, and let me know what you think and what we can talk about on this particular platform. Remember, we don't come here to discredit anybody. We come here to talk about the game of basketball with the sole purpose of developing it. As Coach Kobe said, Happy New Year to every one of you. And congratulations once again to Coach Mulo, Coach Kobe, Chimwemwe, and Nambela. From me, Wenson Mavoro, and the entire discussants, it's good night and see you next week.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.